Okay, it's a quick video for myself, Harvey Goldman. No cuts, no edits, no filters, and no hair. So for today's video, I am sat in a car park. It is Easter Sunday. Not sure when this one will go out, but there you go. I've got about an hour to burn after setting up for a gig and being told that the start time has been delayed. So I am now a chump in a car. Life of Riley. Who said rock and roll was boring? So today's video. Nobody wants to work anymore. Or do they? Let's find out. So maybe it's not laziness. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe it's low pay. Maybe it's zero respect that we seem to get from employers nowadays as employees. Maybe it's wages versus inflation. Obviously, average weekly earnings rose by 5.9% early this year, 2025. But the inflation that we're up against remains persistent and it erodes any real time income gains. There are massive job market challenges. I believe the stats showed that employment dropped by 78,000 in March 2025. And that's basically the largest decline in any month since the early pandemic. So this now indicates a weak labour market. There are obviously cost of living pressures. Over a 3-year period from May 2021 to May 2024, UK consumer prices increased by 20.8%, a fifth. Mental. And that significantly has an impact on household budgets. Of course it does. Of course it does. And it's not like your wages have gone up by 20% to cover any of those costs. There are changing expectations in the workplace. Obviously, the pandemic massively reshaped attitudes towards work across the globe, not just in the UK. There was an increased demand for flexibility and for more importantly, a better work-life balance. And now the pandemic is over. Now we're kind of still, and probably will be for many years, mopping up the pieces and paying back the debt and everything else. I don't think that the attitudes towards work have really caught up. I think there was an expectation, particularly from employers, that now they've kind of levied work from home on their workforce, that they can just withdraw it and go back to the way things were in 2019. It's not going to wash. People now expect to be able to work from home, particularly in office-based jobs, of course. If you're in an admin role or a clerical type role, or basically just tied to a desk with a mouse and a keyboard, you can kind of do that on your couch. Now, I know that brings whole other sort of aspects into employment. It invariably means that employers are probably going to want to monitor activity, maybe using screen capture software, maybe camera monitoring, maybe keystroke logging, any of the above, all of the above, and more. But I feel that as employees, we should embrace this. We should be happy to be monitored. If it means we get a bit of freedom, not to have to commute, not to have to be around people that we wouldn't through choice otherwise be around. So, where does this leave us in terms of people wanting to work? I think on the whole that people do. I think on the whole, people need self-worth. They need the value, the intrinsic value that being employed and having a job gives them. I don't think that many people want to sit on their arse and just claim benefits because, to be honest, the lifestyle and the amount of income that you get on benefits is very low. It's not really any kind of life. It might do short term, which is obviously what it's intended for. It's something that's meant to be there as a short term monetary fix to life's problems while you get yourself into another job. But I believe that most of us do want to work, and I think employers probably need to wise up. They probably need to invest more in infrastructure within their company to allow work from home. They need to invest more in smarter processes, which can then reduce costs, which can then mean perhaps we get bonuses or we get slightly higher wages for jobs well done. They need to invest as well in people. Absolutely, invest in people. In fact, there used to be a badge that employers had that said they were an investor in people. How they got that or where they bought that from, I don't know, but I used to see it in almost every company I worked in through the noughties. Um, I believe that there is a paradigm shift happening with the job market, and we are going to see more and more work from home jobs coming up. And I think this is not the traditional or kind of old guard that are doing this. I think this is new companies that are popping up that are doing this from the off. This is just the way that they work. It's not something that's going to need to be a change within their business. They're not going to have to rewrite the script or change anything to make it work. It's just going to be the way things are from day one. I absolutely welcome it. I would really love to be in a 9 to 5 job or that type of job and just working from home. Maybe going into the office once a fortnight, once a month for a meeting, a catch up, go through progress, achievement, everything else, accountability. And I think that would be the way forward. It would reduce costs for myself, it would reduce my travel costs beyond measure. It would reduce costs for the employers, and this is why I can't understand why more of them aren't doing it. Because if you've got, say, for example, a call centre and you've got 100 seats, that's a fair sized building with fair sized bills that you're maintaining. And you think about greedy councils and greedy rents and landlords and all of the insurances and utilities that come attached to that. You don't have that at home. You don't have any of that. You literally need to make sure that the person working from home has got the right equipment. So surely you spending as an employer £500 to £1,000 on a laptop, maybe £100 on a adequate chair, a monitor, that type of thing, and then mouse and keyboard. That's got to be more affordable than the cost of that person being on site for an entire year. So it does make me wonder why more companies aren't doing it. And I do think that a lot of them are stuck in their ways. And I think that mindset needs to change. What's your thoughts on this? Where do you sit on the work from home versus working in a location? Do you think that this is a reason why employers within certain industries are finding it harder to fill roles? Or is it just because the wages that they're offering are far too low? Let me know in the comments. Really keen to find out. It just dawned on me, obviously, thinking back over the jobs that I've had over the years and the durations of time that I've been in those jobs. Although I do hate 9 to 5, and I've not been really into any job that I've ever had apart from one, and that was writing for a computer game magazine. And that was before the internet was rolled out to every household and before it was really very available through anything other than dial up. But I did journalism in a computer magazine publishing house, played video games and got paid for it for my thoughts and opinions. That was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Everything else that I've done since then, regardless of the skills that I've acquired and how I've applied them and whatever else, and they've been across a few different industries, has only been because I've got bills. And I don't think I'm alone. I really don't think that I'm alone on this. I think that most of us, unless we're self employed, and then obviously you choose to do something that you love, and if you don't, well, that's a bit stupid. I think that most of us would prefer to be in work, for sure. So YouTube's going to put another video there. I'm going to go and have a cry because I've still got 45 minutes left to wait for a gig. And that's another 3 hours until I can get home. So there you go. Goldman, Peace out.